We knew that there would be another shoe to drop in the Ghislaine Maxwell Jeffrey Epstein saga. And yes, that is how you say her name, according to her brother, who published an opinion piece. It is Ghislaine Maxwell.
Why wouldn't you just use GMAX? GMAX.
GMAX?
That's what we're going to say here. So we're not wrong. It's,
all right.
It's like it
may
be a little too cool.
How about convicted? Convicted.
Yes, we could do that too.
Yet to be sentenced, GMAX. Anyway, Ghislaine Maxwell, we now have another shoe to drop in this whole saga. A bombshell new report out this morning shows that Jeffrey Epstein cut a secret deal with Prince Andrew's accuser, Virginia Giuffre. Now, we're only learning about this because the settlement was made public in a New York courtroom on Monday as part of Giuffre's ongoing civil suit against Prince Andrew. And that's her right there in that famous photo where she is standing next to Prince Andrew, and Ghislaine is in the background like, hey, I helped arrange all of this. I'm here in my... Now, actually, I'm curious. Help me fashionistas out there. What the hell? This does not make any sense at all, this outfit. Because it's like you want to be warm, right? You want to be warm around your neck because you're freezing, but then at the same time, your arms are exposed.
Rachel wore them a lot on Friends. It was a thing in the early aughts.
Okay, so that's what that is. You can blame
I don't think
Friends.
you can never think practical with fashion.
That's true. Yeah, exactly. Like Natalie was talking about heels the other day and how difficult those are to wear on a regular basis.
Yes, but they're not in fashion quite so much anymore. These young girls, they go partying in sneakers.
Yeah.
They don't know from painful.
I guess
it's not like they're... You ever watch, what is it, Jurassic World, where that girl's running through the jungle with heels on?
Heels on.
Oh, the worst one is the first Transformers. Megan Fox, like running from Transformer monsters in stilettos across the Hoover Dam. And I'm like, I'm out. I need to just go get a refund.
It wasn't the giant robots that could turn into a dinosaur or cars. That was not the part that you found fantastical.
No, it was the stilettos on the Hoover Dam. I was like, this is so offensive.
I would have been with you. I would have been like, yep, let's go. I'm with you.
Everything else, like this robot turns into a bumblebee car, that totally believable. But the fact that she's running across the Hoover Dam in heels, I'm out. That's where I draw the line. Totally ridiculous.
You can't wear some sneakers if you're going to be running.
I like Michael Douglas in Romancing the Stone. He grabs her heels and cuts them off and hands them back to her as flat.
That's great. She's like, these were Italian. And what's his line? He's like, no, they're practical.
All right, let me go back to the story.
Okay, sorry.
We're talking about fashion.
You went on a tangent around the mock turtleneck,
I
but
know,
okay.
But then we got to Transformers and Megan Fox. I'll talk about Megan Fox anytime you want, just not right now. Okay, so this settlement shows that Jeffrey Epstein paid Virginia Giuffre $500,000 in 2009 in a legal settlement, in which she agreed not to sue anyone linked to Epstein that could be a, quote, potential defendant. So now Giuffre is seeking unspecified damages, alleging that the British royal sexually assaulted her when she was a teenager. Now, she claims to have been forced into sex with Prince Andrew by Epstein himself, and of course, Ghislaine Maxwell, who arranged all of this. Now, the reason this is such a big deal is because her lawsuit now faces a crucial challenge today in court, on Tuesday, today, because Prince Andrew's lawyers are going to seek to have the case dismissed on the basis that this settlement basically, hey, you can't sue Prince Andrew because she already settled with Epstein, so you can't sue him. Mm-hmm. And in the filing, his attorneys noted that because of Prince Andrew's status as, quote, a senior British royal, he falls into the expressly identified categories of persons who were released from liability as a third-party beneficiary under this 2009 Epstein agreement. So,
what does his seniority in the royal family have to do with anything?
Well, it doesn't. But according to the documents, that because of the way that this lawsuit was laid out, although Prince Andrew is not mentioned by name, the settlement apparently covers expressly identified categories of persons, including royalty, as well as politicians, academicians. I've never heard of academic. Is that what an academic is?
Academicians?
You're an academic and you don't even know how to say it.
Am I?
Businessmen and other allegedly associated with Epstein. So I want everyone to read this closely. This is in the lawsuit. This is in the settlement.
Okay.
So you cannot sue Epstein if you are royalty. That was in there. Literally in the settlement agreement.
That it, as a part of the dismissed parties, includes these people, right? You can't be associated. You can no longer be sued again because the settlement it covers these people. So if you were like Epstein's maid, you could still be sued. Although I guess a maid is also a business person. It's interesting. It says businessmen, like no. So if you were his garbage man or something, I mean, I guess all of those people are businessmen.
No, but I mean, the fact that these specific titles are written into this $500,000 settlement with her.
So if he were stripped of his titles, he still could be called a business person.
I guess he'd be a business person, but politicians, academicians, and business academicians, I don't even know how you say that.
Who isn't a business and others allegedly associated.
But this is amazing. So, all right, just to put a bow on this, we've identified now the royalty in this settlement, right? We know who the royal is.
Yes.
Let's move on to find out who the politician is. And who is the academic that Jeffrey Epstein specifically felt was important to include in this settlement agreement with Virginia Giuffre, and the businessmen and the politicians? So, great, we figured out who the royal is.
Dr. Bruce Banner.
Who's the politician now? Is it Bill Clinton? Is it, I mean, who's the businessman? Is it Bill Gates? You know what I mean? Like these names are specifically written into this legal agreement.
Yes.
I just am I alone in finding this fascinating?
It's like the intro song to Gilligan's Island. The businessman and his wife.
The professor.
Star.
But that these are all written into the frickin' legal settlement is pretty amazing. So again, is he now going to get off scot-free? Because we're all going to watch today, is this judge going to say, yeah, you know what, you can't sue him because this was part of your settlement agreement. And so you can't actually go after him for sexual assault.
It just feels like she's going to be the fall guy for all of this, and no information is going to get released, and, you know.
Yeah.
Well, and what's interesting is that this whole episode has nothing to do with her trial, with Ghislaine's trial. Like, this is totally separate. This is Virginia right here suing him, Prince Andrew.
Yes.
So this has nothing to do with her conviction.
Tell me the last time that you can remember in history where some of these elite politicians or anything ever got in trouble or went to jail for anything. And Wall Street for the 2008 debacle.
Honestly, this is probably yesterday we actually had the Theranos conviction of
Elizabeth
Holmes. So 4 out of 11 convictions. So she could face up to 20 years in prison. There's no way she's going to get that. So we have Elizabeth Holmes and we have Ghislaine Maxwell, two prominent women. And that's about it. I can't think of any other time any of these Wall Street fat cats have got put away in jail for anything that they were responsible for, the 2008 financial crisis, et cetera, right?
I'm going to have to think hard on that one before I just
don't think
say
too hard.
That, but it feels true. Anecdotal.
It's anecdotal.
And I think the Theranos, I think for her, I don't put her in that same category as those people. You know what I mean? Because she was just she played the game temporarily and walked up that ladder, but she hasn't been established as long as a lot of these other people have.
Like a Hillary Clinton or
right. She's nouveau riche, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
She was not an establishment character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's a little bit different, but you've got these people that are so ingrained into the power of this country that, you know, I don't think you'll ever see them go down for anything.
Yeah. Anita Thorson in the chat points out that Elizabeth Holmes' conviction, she faces up to 20 years per conviction. So they're saying that it could be up to 80 years. Recall that she's a new mom too.
Right.
She just had a baby. So it's, you know, no matter how you feel about it, it's not a happy story.